G'day and welcome back to another video, and this video is going to be purely on the rifle because I've actually owned this rifle for a while now, but I've been slowly building it up with parts and components, and this is what I've arrived to. So I'm going to go over the shooting system and what it is and break it all down for you guys so that maybe you get inspired and you get a few ideas and you think, yeah, that's cool, and feel free to reach out and I can answer any questions on this rifle as well. So again, the video will be all broken up into chapters so you can find bits and pieces and rewatch things and really get your head around what I've done here. So this is the 6th rifle that I've built like this. Not exactly the same, but I'm talking about the chambering that it's done in and the platform and all of that sort of good thing. So straight off the back, which usually guys find a little odd, but I really like my Savage actions. So this is a Savage long action. So this started out as a 270 Winchester, lightweight hunter. What happens is basically Gun City, they get to a point where they feel sorry for Savage, and so they buy a whole lot of firearms off them. They can't sell them, so they get rid of them for really cheap. So I come along and I pay $900 brand new for the whole thing, pull the barrel off, and off I go. So that's pretty much why I run with Savage, but there's a few things I really do like about Savage. One of them is they come all fluted, the lightweight hunter, the bolt comes fluted, the action is skeletonized as well. They're a good strong action, so they often, they run 338 Lapua, they run larger calibers and cartridges, so they're a good strong action. But I think the floating bolt head and all of that sort of system, the way the Savage action works for me, I just really like them. And don't get me wrong, I've done Remingtons, I've done Tikka, I've done Browning, I've done Ruger, I've done pretty much everything, apart from a custom titanium action. But again, I just don't really want to drop that kind of money on a rifle system. So Savage actions for me, you'd be pretty hard pressed to find a Savage that doesn't shoot well. And I think the floating bolt head and the way they straighten and bore their barrels, with a pretty decent rifle. Now I know some of the cheaper Savages have a tendency to rust, and that is very true, but I found the lightweight hunter, the stainless steel version of that, to be just fine. So they're also quite easy to work on. So you get rid of that barrel nut, so you just headspace things properly, and they're fairly easy to work on as well. So this one here has got a Timney trigger in there. I will admit the Savage triggers are rubbish, especially if you've got an AccuTrigger version. Just get rid of all that AccuTrigger stuff out because it'll ruin one of your hunts. It's just a matter of time where the thing goes click when you don't want it to because the safety goes off. But yeah, Timney trigger, Savage action, away we go. So no fluting needed, done. So running up to, I use 1-piece bases and rings, tally base and rings, and this particular Savage is a long action and it is chambered in 284 Winchester. And so we'll talk a little bit about 284 Winchester now. So I've got basically in between here, I've got these different shells. So on the far left we've got a 7mm 08, just to give you a size reference of what the 284 Winchester is. Then you've got the 284 Winchester in the middle, and then a 270 Winchester on the side, and then a loaded on the far right 284 Winchester loaded with the projectile that this rifle has been built around, and that is the 180 grain ELD match. So you can see that the 284 Winchester is it's actually quite a bit fatter all the way through the case, and then it runs a nice steep shoulder angle, and it really does finish up as a medium action. So traditionally it was designed around a 2.8 inch overall length, but it sort of died out a little bit because the 280 Remington came through, and that just made a lot more sense to run that on a long action. So this one here has been built on a long action, and it has been chambered specifically for the 180 grain ELD match. So we're running a Hardy stainless steel match barrel on there, and that is a 1 in 8 twist. So it is designed around the 180 grain to stabilize all the way through to 190 grain. And this barrel is the fastest barrel I've ever had on a rifle. It just, for some reason, it just shoots fast. So the speeds that I'm getting, I did a 26-inch 284 Winchester on a Savage action as well. The speeds that I'm getting out of this are right up there with a 26-inch barrel, except this is a 20.5-inch barrel, using 5R rifling as well. And I think the key to this one that I've learnt after building a lot of them is don't go below a 20-inch barrel. But I also, this one here has been throated, and so basically this is not a standard 284 Winchester. So standard 284 Winchester just won't run 180 grain bullets well at all. So this one here has been, this overall length is not 2.8 inches, it's actually 3.15. And what that allows me to do is, because I'm on a long action, I've seated this bullet right out to the point where if I was any further, I would start creating a donut, which is where the bullet taper at the back would start coming out of the shoulder, which would not work. And so this chambering has also been chambered specifically around Lapua brass, and not just, so that's neck turned Lapua brass. And also I've asked the gunsmith to install 20 thousandths of free bore in there. And so free bore is we cut the rifling out, so 284 or 7mm, you cut the rifling out, and that just means that you keep that pressure, sort of the concept like the Weatherby Magnums and the Rums, the Remington Ultra Magnums. So by moving your projectile closer to your lands, you actually, yes, you increase the case capacity behind the projectile, but you end up with higher rates of pressure. So by putting that free bore in there, you're letting that bullet jump a little bit first before the pressure starts, and boom. Now I'm running the 180 grain ELD match chronographed into a very, very tight little group with this thing, and it's running at 2,780 feet per second. And so for me, this is a really well balanced rifle to kind of take in the bush, but also go for the open tops as well. So yeah, so that's the chambering. That's how the chambering's been done. I'm using Reloader 26 for my powder, Lapua brass, and I'm using CCI primers on there as well, and just achieving excellent speeds and really good accuracy as well. My personal opinion on the ELD match for hunting is you don't really want to be pushing them sort of 3,100 feet per second. So the 7mm PRC is good in that, you know, it's by the time it gets to the animal, even pushing in a 180 ELD match, it's not going all that fast still. The ELD, you know, the 7 PRC, you're going to be pushing it around 2,900 maybe feet per second, not out of a 20-inch barrel. But yeah, that's the kind of thing, is for me this is like a 7mm PRC, except it's not a Magnum, so my suppressor's smaller and lighter. I've got a shorter barrel, more efficient case, better round life down the barrel. So for me, it's kind of finding that balance between everything. So yeah, done the barrel. Now, an interesting product that I'm running on this rifle is I did a few folding chassis 3 years ago-ish, and I was never really happy with how they came up. They were just tinny and clicky and heavy. So I have bit the bank account and gone to Target Dynamics, who were really good to deal with, and we've basically installed this carbon fiber folding chassis stock on this rifle. And so this rifle, with the suppressor off, is just on the legal limit of a rifle length in New Zealand. And so this chassis is really nice, really nice. I specifically ordered it in the green. I wanted some paint that I could potentially touch up because I know I'd scratch it. But yeah, it's the Hunt 26 stock and it is pretty mickey. So a few things about it is you can see this rail under here. That rail clips to the top of my tripod, and so that gets it back fairly far. Like, it doesn't quite get it back to the balance point, but it's pretty good for probably 300, 400 yard shots. And then obviously you got the folding buttstock there. I have given this a real hard time in the bush with the buttstock actually being up, and it has started a little bit of play, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. But overall the chassis is really nice, but I think it does have one quite large downside, apart from the price, in that when you it's a hunting chassis, but when you come, listen to this, when you come to click it into place, that click will send a deer running from 100 yards away. So I don't know what they can do about it, but you just have to manually just click it in. But yeah, I mean, I'd fold it up and put it on my backpack if I was going up high anyway. So one thing I'm running is the MDT Flush Fit magazines as well. So this is actually a 300 Win Mag magazine. I found the 3006 one didn't actually feed that well, but the 300 Win Mag one is just fine. So I can hold 4 rounds in here. Sits in there nice and flush and snug. And that's really good too. So that's really cool. In terms of the suppressor on this rifle, so I'm running 2 different. I'm trialing this DPT suppressor. I'm a DPT. I've had DPTs on my 7mm for a long time, but they have come out with a new product which kind of changes things for me a bit, because we all want sort of one rifle to rule them all. Well, I don't want to be mucking around with 2 different rifles. So basically, DPT, a standard DPT, comes with your 4 baffles. So there's your standard DPT there, and I just got myself a cover that I'm going to trim to fit for there. And that's kind of my bush setup for my DPT. Now, so there's my bush setup that I would traditionally use, and no air protection needed, just bang, shoot, go. The DPT just came out with this threaded muzzle brake end, and I have not even shot it yet, but I reached out to them and said, hey, that's cool, that would go really, it's a muzzle brake end, that would be perfect for the South Island. So just get rid of the caps, thread caps there, and there you go, that's something different. So it'll kill a little bit of sound, but mainly what I'm looking for, if I want to go hunt tar, or I'm going to go and shoot something long range, I want to be able to spot my shots, and so that's why you have a big Magnum with a big muzzle brake on it, and it makes a difference. You still get a bit of muzzle jump with a suppressor. So they've said that this cuts out an extra 20% of recoil, so it'll cut the recoil down to about half in their testing. So I'm really looking forward to testing out DPT's new product that this rifle will now share with 2 different systems. So that's pretty cool. So one thing I am going to test as well is that I can use this product, maybe put the baffles on and see how much my point of impact will shift. Because if it doesn't shift, oh, that would be awesome. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then up on the front here, I am running the MTN Bipod, and this is a really nice piece of kit too. So ultra light, it's like 160 grams, the Backcountry, I think, 170 grams, heaps of adjustment. Like, look at that, and just you can still load this bipod up too when you're in your shooting position, and yeah, really good piece of kit. again, it just... And then MTM also released a new rail, which this one here clicks onto just your standard Weaver rail, but I believe they've released one that has Arca and Weaver in the same rail, so that's pretty cool as well. Yeah, the MTN Backcountry bipod on there. Right, and lastly, the scope I'm running is the Maven RS 1.2 on here. So I love a 2.5 to 15 power. So yeah, I'm going to do a proper review on this Maven scope. This is more about the rifle. But yeah, this is from the Modern Hunter, and to be honest, like, I've owned a lot of scopes, and this scope is so nice. It is really, really nice, and so that's the scope I'm running. It's a little bit heavier, but the payoff on a VX5 or something like that is you get much better turrets, better class. It's just, in every way, it's better. So I'm okay to do that. So yeah, there you go, guys. That is my main hunting rig right there, and I can't see anything changing in a long time, anytime soon. I did think about getting the barrel fluted, but I just thought I've got such a good load sorted out for this thing, and I don't really want to change anything now. I just want to actually just use it and just enjoy it. But yeah, that's my 284 Winchester folding chassis hunting rifle. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, fire away. I'm quite happy to answer questions and hear you guys' thoughts as well. But yeah, see you on the next one.